James Whale Radio Show.
Hello and welcome. Today's program is all about the right of Alexa, the freedom of people like me to produce reality in film and television production, and the right of women to take part in the so-called noble art of boxing. Over to James.
Thank you, Chris. Now, welcome to the show again tonight, and I'm not going to let him take over. There's absolutely no chance he's going to take over. This is Sue. Sue doesn't exist, according to the British Board of Boxing Control, or British Boxing Board of Control, because she's a female boxer. Apparently they don't exist. We're going to find out a little more about that later on, plus we're going to see her working out in the ring as well, all right?
Right.
You don't mind?
No, not at all.
And she won't be pulling any punches?
Oh, I shan't.
On the interview or the fight. Now, you can call us, whether you have any views on women boxing or on the way the media treat disabled people, perhaps. You can ring us on the number. It's up there. Can you see it? Where is it? Oh, there it is, yeah. 0532 46 1000. That was nearly quick. Now, welcome. Before I introduce you to my guest, let me tell you about something else that we have on the programme tonight. And if I can get a monitor here that I can see, get everybody out of the way, we're going to try an experiment. We're going to have, for the first time on live British television throughout the whole country, except in London. Unfortunately, there's a little problem in London, so you won't get it. But on page 888, Oracle subtitles, there we are. And this, as I have said, is the first time that it's been done live. Normally, it would be rehearsed. They'd have a script, and they'd know what I was going to say. So down in London, believe it or not, although they won't be seeing it on LWT tonight, we've got Brendan, Mark and Vivian. Are you there? Let's have a little look. Can I see Brendan, Mark and Vivian? Can you hear me? There we are. We're going to get up to me in a few moments because this is all what I've said. You don't have to do this, but here we go. Let's have a look. Fantastic. Great. So it's the first communication with me and the people who are typing out the subtitles. If I'm going too quickly... Really, I can't actually see that. Okay, just a moment. Can you go back or not? You can't? It's an experiment, so we're trying it out. Okay, so I shall talk very slowly. Chris Davis is a TV producer, a man who's given me a lot of aggravation in the past and has cerebral palsy. When you first meet Chris, it's a little bit embarrassing to know whether you should pretend to understand him or to ask him, say, I didn't understand that. And if you patronise him, he's likely to give you a kick. But it is difficult. The media don't accept. And you watching at home are probably going to have trouble understanding Chris unless you watch and listen carefully. I hope that you will do that, because it'll open up a whole new horizon for you. When you hang around, if you want...
Introduction.
What?
What an introduction that was.
It was, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you first meet people now...
Like you.
Like me, and they're ill at ease. Because, I mean, you don't know when you come up to you whether to shake your hand, tweak your nose, or do something else. I mean, how do you put people at ease?
I never give it a second thought. Yeah. I just know when somebody's at ease with me or not, even before they say a word. It's a kind of second sense you get, sixth sense you get, you know.
Yeah.
I know. And you at ease with me the moment you walk in the room.
But why are people... I mean, it's the problem of the able-bodied, isn't it, really, rather than the disabled?
The real disability isn't my CP or lack of sight. It's people's attitude and behaviour.
People are going to say in the media... We're going to introduce Julian, by the way. Julian, I forgot, Julian is a new actor on Emmerdale Farm. He's visually handicapped or blind. Which do you prefer?
I guess I'm registered blind, visually impaired. I don't like any of the terms, really.
You don't, really?
No.
OK, and he is the first disabled actor on Emmerdale Farm on any soap.
Apparently so.
Yeah? And this is Vaughan, his dog, down here. And we're going to come back and talk in a few moments. But just to get back to Chris, the problem with the media is everybody's rushing around. Cameras have got to move, people have got to get out of the way. It's a very fast job to be in. How can disabled people actually get the people who run TV, radio, everything else, the theatre, to take a little more time?
It's not taking time. It's just having the conviction that society could take all sorts of people, including people like Julie and me, and television denies our existence it's not reflecting the whole society.
Well, that's it. But people actually think that it's a very rare... Not many disabled people around, after all, are there? I mean, how many
There
are
are over
there?
6 million of us.
1 in 4. Which is the title of the programme that you do for the BBC. 1 in 4 people. So if you could capture that... I mean, that's an audience that television could really do with, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
cool.
What do you think of Julian being in a soap opera? Is that good for you?
I think it's wonderful. There was one, other example, very briefly, well, 2, 1 in Brookside. And that one was for about 3 episodes. It was pretty beautiful in EastEnders too.
But that's it. It's only briefly, though, isn't it? And I've only been in briefly. I don't know if I'm going to be in permanently myself.
Oh, that's a good point. He wants he
Yes.
wants to be in more. I'm over here, aren't I? He wants to be in more. So if they're watching, he wants to be written in a bit more.
Just lean a bit, James, on them.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I know you're a very influential person.
Newsreaders.
Can I
Sorry.
just correct you? You describe me as a producer. In terms of professional production, I'm not. As far as the BBC is concerned, I'm the presenter. No, I freelance. That's how you and I work together. But in terms of BBC, I'm not a producer.
You're thought of as a presenter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like you.
What about, I mean, could you ever see a time when you would be presenting a programme that had nothing to do with disability?
Yes. Give me the chance to take over from you for 1 week and I'll show you.
When I go on holiday, you can take over. All right, so you can do that. As far as I'm concerned, you can. We're going to come back and talk some more. If you'd like to talk to my guest tonight, don't forget the number 0532 46 1000. You can call us now. Watch this.
Oh, and that the skin, the white, lovely complexion, lovely milky white and soft. And I could, you know, my eyes were just warming to it. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just about to make a read.
Yeah. But
She gets up.
she gets out, yeah.
She gets up. The next thing, I'm sat there. And it just came off. Everything came off his shoulders. She reached for my hand.
Oh.
I was boiling over. Man, I was going to blow a fuse if I didn't get in there quick. Oh, man, I was just slid right next to her. You could... The sheets carried me straight to her. Straight over her.
Oh.
And the next thing, that was it. We just locked. Total sweet oblivion.
There's no need to run. He who goes slowly
Hurry, Bussy.
is healthy.
You don't know whether to laugh or whether you should perhaps hide your humour. This is Steve Dworskin. Steve is the producer of that film, producer of 30 films. Steve was crippled with polio, what, the age of 10?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why? That film was about you.
Yeah, it was based on situations that happened to me.
Did you do it to make the rest of the population who aren't disabled sort of suddenly sit up and take note? Is that, I mean, because although we did a programme on sex and the disabled about a year ago, it's not something people talk about. I mean, they don't like to think of people...
No, it's all taboo subjects. I mean, I did it as a kind of confrontation to demonstrate some of the problems, but also make it funny. I mean, because it's not so serious.
I mean, yes, the biggest problem for people is coming up and saying, oh, you know, you're a brave bloke. Look, I don't know how you managed to do that. It's fantastic. And they don't understand that's about the worst thing you can do.
I know. It's common, though. You do it in spite of.
Now, you were in New York for a long time,
Yeah.
and then you came over here in the 60s, which must have been, I mean, that must have been a real hell time for somebody in a wheelchair in the 60s.
No, it wasn't so bad. Actually, it's almost worse now.
It's worse now, why?
In some ways, there's more restrictions now. Things are looser then.
Why are there more restrictions now? I had terrible trouble with wheelchairs in a TV studio. You know, you've got to inform this person and that person, you've got to have a piece of paper to account for...
I think it's because before it was more informal.
Yeah.
So you can deal with the people more directly. Now it's more bureaucracy, more rituals, things like parking and so forth.
Now, at the moment, up here in Leeds, the Leeds International Film Festival is on, and you're talking at this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So is Chris, actually. and they're going to rope me into it. But, which I'm a little worried about. You're showing these films. This particular film will be on show.
Yeah.
What sort of response do you want to see from people?
Well, I like to see people enjoy it, basically, and sort of actually be able to look at the things that normally embarrass them and actually sort of take it on board that it's reality.
Yeah.
I mean, even though a lot of the elements are exaggerated, it's sort of just to see it and actually see it as a reality, in a sense.
I mean, when you were in the situation with that girl on the bed, I mean, did you fall off her? I mean, how many attempts did it take to get onto her?
Well, it took a lot more than I showed. So.
What,
I mean, she wasn't helping that much.
She wasn't helping?
No.
What, I mean, was she a girlfriend or was she a whore?
No, it was a play. I mean, it was a recreation of situations that have happened.
How does somebody, I mean, how do some women react to having sex with somebody who's disabled then?
You get a wide range of reactions. I mean, it's usually very difficult for many people because they don't know what to do. There's a kind of awkwardness and a clumsiness, or else you get a curiosity.
Do you see yourself as a curiosity? Do you think people see you as a curiosity?
I don't think of it as it, but I do find people reacting that way.
Yeah. Because you say that you use the fact that you're disabled as a statement in your work.
Well, and in some pieces, yeah.
Yeah. Would you ever, I mean, I talked to Chris before, he says, yes, he'll do this show when I'm taking a break. I mean, would you want, and do you do films that have nothing to do with disability, or do you always use it in your...
No, I only did, of the films you mentioned, of the 30, I only did 2.
Yeah.
That are about disability. The rest are my own sort of pieces, as it were, fiction pieces, documentaries.
How do you find the people who distribute them, the people who put money in, and the actors as well, react to you when they find you're in a wheelchair?
Well, well, I suppose it's very difficult to say exactly because I don't really read their reactions. I'm sort of oblivious to it. But I think you get an awkwardness or a patronizing reaction.
Yeah.
In many cases. Some people accept at least my own work as something part of a movement and stuff, so it's a little different.
Okay. Steve, we're going to come back. We're going to talk some more about this a little bit later on, take some phone calls, eventually, we hope. But a new feature on the programme, we're looking for Britain's most boring, mundane and totally awful jobs. Have a look at this. Well, here I am on the streets of the United Kingdom, in search of Britain's most boring job. Well, actually, we're in Scotland. I won't identify the area, but it's a pretty boring street, if you ask me. Now, what could be more boring, first of all, than selling ice cream? Ah, and would you believe it? There's an ice cream van just over there. 99, please.
Would you like haddock or smoked fillet flavour?
Oh, I've never had haddock or smoked fillet flavoured ice cream
There's
before.
always a first time for everything.
There is, isn't there? You haven't got any ice cream, have you?
No, dear. Went to a lovely fish.
But it was an ice cream van, wasn't it?
No, it's never been an
Wasn't
ice cream
it?
van.
This must rate as one of the most boring jobs in the world, selling fish, do you think, or not?
Oh, no. You meet all sorts of people like yourself.
It's fascinating. Can I come in?
Certainly.
Can I come round here and have a go? Roll up, ladies and gentlemen, get your lovely fish.
Here's Nick.
Ah, how are you? A haddock. A haddock. 3 haddocks. What does haddock look like, for goodness sake?
Medium size.
Oh, medium size. Medium. Oh, right, okay. No. Hang on. Any good? No? No?
Take that off and
Go underneath that one. How about that? How does that look? Nice, yes.
That one.
Do you know, I have to tell you, this is not a boring job.
It's not.
It's not. That's a nice one. 3, wasn't it, madam?
3, please.
How do those look to you? Are those nice? They feel nice.
This is fun.
2.40. How's that for you? That's lovely. You take the money.
Right, my dear. In case he puts it in his pocket.
But yes, you see, I put another piece of greaseproof over the
Save paper.
Yes, save paper, save trees. Fantastic.
right.
And how's that?
You get a bag over there to that.
Fantastic. I didn't put the fish cakes in a bag.
No.
There we are, madam. Thank you very much indeed. This is a good little earner, too. Okay, thank you. Now, madam, how are you today? Welcome to
fine.
Nora's Ark. It's lovely to see you. And what a wonderful world it is. And hello up there as well. No?
fillets, please.
2 fillets of what?
Beef haddock.
Haddock? You've got...
Two big. Ah, that's
How's that?
lovely.
Those are nice, are they?
That's
They're
lovely.
twins. You don't mind having twins? Okay, now Laura, listen, before we get busy again, tell me, how did you start this up? You just decide there was a sort of a niche, or did you...
No, I worked with Polar Foods in Bangalore, and they were closing up. They were having to move out and go to New Haven, and there wasn't enough room to take all the staff. There was only 2 filleters went in the buses. So the customer said, well, if you get a shop or a van, we'll come to you. So I decided a van was best in Junction Street, so I applied to the council, got the stand 8 years ago. And that was how it started.
Are you a millionaire yet or not?
Oh, no,
No?
not likely to be. I don't want to be a millionaire.
You don't?
Oh, no.
Well, listen, I am so impressed. It's not, obviously, Britain's most boring job,
Oh, it's not.
that I am going to award you a whale warrant, all right?
Oh, lovely.
And it's awarded to you by me, the most famous man in the entire universe, and you'll be able to display it outside the fish factory. All right?
That's lovely.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thanks very much indeed. I'll leave you to it now
I've
because
enjoyed being here.
Well,
really,
listen,
you've been fun.
if I need something to
full
fill
of
in
it
my
myself.
time. Yes, I know. I can see that. I can see that. Right. Well, I'll see you later. All right.
Right. Thank you
Nice,
very
eh,
much.
James? Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was good. I enjoyed that.
He's a whale of a guy.
I'd make a whole half-hour show. I think that's Channel 4.
Would you like a bit of fish, the lot of you?
No, honestly. Okay, now we're going to send Nora this whale's warrant. You can see this. We've had them all typed up with a rampant whale or a whale rampant at the top here. I think I look quite good with a crown on it. If you have a boring job, a job that really pisses you off, write and let us know. The address is coming up. Could we get the address up? I don't know if we've got time. I think we probably have. And we could come along and film it. I know it's a little difficult in this day and age with not much employment around, but if there's something that you think is quite funny, let us know. With that, stay tuned. Live music coming up after the break.
Bow, 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 bow.
James Whale.
The James Whale Radio Show.
I always wanted to be a billboard, and now I can. I must remember, hang on, that's moving. I must remember that I've got to talk slowly for the Oracle subtitles, if in fact you can get them on page 888. Now, live music from a couple called, it's actually a 5-piece band, but we couldn't afford the whole lot, so we have 2. They're the Katydids. This is their new single, and it's called The Boy Who's Never Found. Ladies and gentlemen, the Katydids. Stand by. I'm not keen on this. Yeah, great. I love that. The Katydids and The Boy Who's Never Found. Now, Wales Mail. Thank you for the letters last week. I want a lot more letters this week. And I want lots of interesting letters. I want suggestions as to the sort of guests you want to see on the show, the sort of things you want us to cover. Mail, first of all, about tonight's show. We've got it in already. From Stephen Howlett of London. He says, I saw about a female boxing around 6 months ago, and it was very professionally done. They were very skillful and dedicated, and if the British Boxing Board of Control continues to deny the existence of female boxing, they can only harm the sport. Women have a rightful place in British boxing until such a time we only continue the myth that women are second-class citizens. Did you write this?
I didn't, but I
You
do
didn't?
agree with it.
Oh, I see, OK. That's, so we're going to come back and talk to you in a few moments. You will stay there, won't you? Not going to dash off and hit anybody. Now, mail about last week's programme, and I'll come right over here to camera 1. This is from Claire White of Essex. Says, it's great to see the show back again on Friday. The new sport of watching paint dry will probably be a great success. We have a very packed programme tonight, Claire. We do have Neil Kinnock in a corner over here watching a wall of wet paint at the moment as our celebrity guest, but I don't think we're going to have a chance to get him on camera tonight. John Appleby, of no address, and you'll see why when I read the letter, says, what you need on the show is more female flesh and more fun. Oh, really, John? The guy watching the Pratt or paint dry was a suitable metaphor for the whole fiasco. It was a miserable experience. What's gone wrong? If you show a man's ass pretending to be Churchill, show us some female posteriors too, pretending to be anything they like, so long as we get an eyeful. Sod debating the issues of the day. Give us what no other programme can or will. You are a rotten little pervert, John. I'd go and seek some sort of medical help if I were you. Oof. That belongs to this young lady, Cher. And she said we could borrow this part of her just for this bit of the programme. A couple of weeks' time, we do have the Dream Girls on, but, John, you won't be allowed to see it. James Dighton from Bournemouth wrote and said, having seen your Elvis Presley impressionist on last week's show, that did get quite a few complaints, I felt compelled to send you this rather apt postcard. Put that up there for you. Now, that's my idea of heaven, I must admit. Philip Oliver, chairman of SPELL, the Society for the Protection of English Language and Literacy, he says, congrats on an excellent show, but one complaint. Wales Mail should, of course, have an apostrophe in it. Let's put the caption up. There we are. You're absolutely right. Wales Mail doesn't have an apostrophe. Let's do it while we're on the air. Can we correct this? He says, if high-profile teleprograms can't get it right, that's wrong. What hope is there for our children? Come on, there we are. Good, OK, fantastic. Now, we didn't have any letter... Sorry, we only built this a couple of days ago, so it's falling apart. We didn't have any really good letters about the Lover's Guide, so we're not going to show any of that video. But we do have another under-the-counter video, which I've got at great personal cost, and we're prepared to give these away. Yeah, we're prepared to give these away in a competition. Now, I don't know if I can show this on television. I might get a lot of stick for it, but there we are. I've got 2 copies of this. Yep. The complete works of Herb Alpert, the very best of. And you can win this if you answer one fairly difficult question. What instrument does Herb Alpert play? Put it down on a postcard or the back of a sealed envelope and send it to the usual address, and next week you may be the proud possessor of one of these. Excellent. And keep the letters coming in, because we've got to make up the ideas. Oh, and also, if you, like me, are not very good at writing, I am absolutely terrible, why not send us in an audio cassette? Now, apparently the BBC can't handle audio cassettes, so we found, you know, send us an audio cassette and we'll treat that as a letter as well. OK. Now, Sue, am I going too fast for the Oracle things? Probably not. Sue, you're 30. Isn't that a bit old, by the way, for being a boxer?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Now,
George Foreman's nearly over 40. George Foreman's over 40.
He's a lot bigger than you.
Well, yes, he's also a lot older than me.
Yes, you're right. We asked the people in charge, whose name, being dyslexic, I can never remember names, British Board of Boxing, whatever. They said, oh, you're just trying to take the mick, aren't you? They do it in jelly or topless or that sort of thing. Yeah, they've had this view of us for a long time. They've said the same thing for many years now, at least 11 since I've been doing it. I mean, I don't understand what's wrong with them. There's supposed to be a sport that builds character, according to politicians, and is the sort of thing all young men can do. That's right. It's a sport that breeds a lot of self-discipline and a lot of confidence in people. But, yeah, these guys are really straight-laced. But I would like to say it's only the guys at the top that are actually in control. The guys at the grassroots level, I've had nothing but support and help from them. Anybody think it was dangerous? You could get injured from it. I mean, it's silly, isn't it? That's right. Absolutely silly. Now, we'll have more of that a little later on, actually. Sorry, Fellini, did you want me to move on here? We're overrunning slightly? We are. Don't worry about it too much. I just wanted to ask one question. You, when you're boxing, actually take blows against your chest and other parts? I mean, what happens to your chest? Presumably that's a rather delicate part of a young lady. I don't think so. It doesn't hurt you, or there's no problem. That's what they say. It's not a big deal. It's just purely men that are obsessed with what happens to a woman's breast when I get hit. Yeah. It's not a big deal at all. It's made up of the same tissue as a man's breast, only that obviously there's more of it. Yeah. A lot more in some cases, a little less in others. But, yeah, that's just purely an emotional argument. We're going to show the people in boxing exactly what women's boxing is a bit later on, so stay with us. But now, have a look at this. As you know, I like coffee. Now, this is the most expensive coffee in the world, isn't it, Tony?
This is absolutely true, yeah.
What is it?
It's a Kopi Luwak. It's coffee that's been digested in the stomach of a wolf.
Grim-looking
Wolf
coffee
coffee.
is sitting
It's
on the
pretty
table
exotic.
between
Just
them.
explain. This coffee costs how much?
£155,000 per tonne. This is about
155,000 a tonne.
Yeah, which is about 10 times as much as Jamaica Blue Mountain, which is the most expensive coffee in the world as far as most people are concerned.
This coffee is coffee beans that have been eaten by wolves. It's gone through the natural process. Somebody's gone around and with a pooper scooper.
Yeah, exactly. I
On
must
the
explain
screen
that
at the moment is
the
wolves'
stone of a coffee cherry.
excrement with coffee beans clearly defined in it.
Expels the beans.
Should we try it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you want to show me what to do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Both
I
take
just
up a
drink this
spoon.
stuff, you know. Is it?
I'm not spitting it out because I
Tony
don't like it. I'm spitting
No,
it
of
out
course
because
not.
that's what
Spoonful from the bowl.
professional etiquette demands.
Right.
Sips it and spits it into a bucket between them. James leaps out of the way.
Looks second-hand to me, actually.
Now James takes a sip
Okay.
of the coffee, takes it, spits it into the bucket and misses it.
Hit the bucket.
Sorry about that, Tony. Actually, listen, this has been through a wolf.
James
It's been
takes
through a wolf.
another
Into the
sip.
shitter, as they would say.
Yeah.
That's quite... I mean, I like coffee, as you know, and that's not bad at all.
Oh, it's not bad at all. It's
some
very
more.
good. In fact, it's a delicacy.
Yeah.
Tony
You won't
takes
find
some
things
more.
like this normally.
No.
Tony spits it into the bucket.
You don't have to... Yeah. Yeah.
And James
Would you like
takes
to try
another
some or not?
spoonful, turns towards the
I
camera.
see Stevie over here.
Well,
Cameraman
they say
off
that
screen.
the
Cameraman over here.
action in the
Yeah.
stomach of
Takes a
the
spoonful
try,
of
Stevie.
coffee over
has a
towards
favourable
him.
effect.
As he holds the camera over his shoulder, the cameraman
take it all
sips
now,
it passively, and then as it goes down, he pulls a horrid face.
That's very good. That's very nice indeed. Poor old Stevie, what a horrible face. Now, with me is Pat Hutchinson, and Pat is going to tell me all about something called audio description, which was what was going on there. What's the benefit, or who does it benefit?
It benefits visually impaired people who want to go to the theatre or to see a film and can't actually see that we can see. And audio describers try to describe the parts that audiences laugh at, what people are wearing, expressions on faces, all the kind of things that are not, that people can hear them when they're visually impaired, but they can't see them. And we...
So all the gaps
Yes.
in television programmes where nothing's going on,
Yeah,
very difficult to find on this programme.
of course.
Yes, but this is very new. I'd never heard of it before.
Well, I only got to know about it earlier this year, but apparently it's a system that has been used in America, and they've introduced it to this country, and about 4 theatres have got it.
So what happens? I mean, if you're all sitting in the theatre, suddenly you can hear somebody's voice, can you? Describing it or not?
Well, the theatre goer sits in the auditorium
Yes.
and has an audio cassette here and has an earpiece on.
Oh, I see. So it's recorded first of all.
No, it's not recorded. What
Oh.
actually happens is there's an electronic eye here,
Yeah.
which picks up, beams into lights at the side of the stage, and then it's beamed back to the audio describers in a soundproof box at the top of the theatre. And we can actually see the stage,
Oh,
and then we speak in a microphone
Yeah.
back to the visually impaired person sitting in the auditorium. They can actually hear us describing what they can't see on the stage.
so somebody said to me, was it you? I don't know. It's like having an eye in your ear.
Well, that's...
I think that's a rather nice...
Yes, it is, and that's the kind of logo that we wear on our shirts.
Okay,
those
great.
describers.
Well, let's hope this continues, because obviously there are an awful lot of people who could benefit from that.
Well, it's lovely to do it.
And maybe we could... we're up here in the office. You're not getting any calls answered at the moment because they can't say anything, can you? The BBC's new Top of the Pops programme, lovely though it is, has a chart rundown with no voiceover. So for anybody who is blind, who's watching, listening, they don't get to know what's in the chart. Seems silly, doesn't it? Absolutely stupid. Deaf. What?
You said blind. Deaf.
I meant deaf, did I? I'm sorry about that. It's always useful to have a producer around, and now I've found out the reason why, so they can tell you what's going on. I'm just going to go over here if you want to describe my movements.
James walks over to a desk and sits down.
Fantastic.
With a clipboard in his hand.
You can stop now. Right, thank you, Pat. I did make one little mistake. Apparently I said it was the British Board of Boxing Control who said they thought female boxing was only in jelly and that sort of stuff. And where is camera 3? No. Never mind. You don't even know, do you? Oh, over here. Oh, lovely. It's over here. Good. You're camera 3. You're camera 2. Okay, fantastic. Yes. Go right. Anyway, it wasn't, apparently. It was somebody in the office who said that. The British Board of Boxing Control said, just to keep the record straight, that they have stated in a letter that they have never heard of any tournament of women's boxing and know of no women's boxing in this country. These are very distinguished people, have never heard of it, so tonight, hopefully, it'll filter back to them. Now, a new section on the programme called Famous for 15 Seconds, when you can phone in, the usual number, do something to keep my interest for 15 seconds, and as long as you don't swear or commit slander of some sort or whatever, you can stay on the screen. Now, we've got somebody, where are my calls? Somebody else call. There we are. We've got these lined up, haven't we? It's all working. Fantastic. Good. OK. You know, looking very bored, aren't you? What do you look at bored? You can't do anything until I stop talking. OK, right. Now, we got Peter somewhere.
Hello.
Are you there, Peter?
Hello, yes.
Good.
Hello.
Nice to talk to you, Peter. Where are you calling from?
Hove or Brighton.
Hove or Brighton?
Yeah, well, Hove it is.
Now, Peter wrote to us actually in the week, and he said that he was desperate to get on to this programme because record breakers won't have you on, will they?
No, I've got a record that Roy Castle holds for playing the grandfather's clock, and I think I can do it quicker than him, but unfortunately they won't give me the chance, so
yeah.
I thought I'd appeal to you.
OK. So you're going to play the grandfather's clock on the trumpet down the telephone?
Well, trombone, yeah.
Trombone?
Yeah.
You have to be very good with the tongue for that, don't you?
Well, there's about 300 notes in it, and I'm going to try and do 300 notes in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry, 300 notes in 15 seconds.
Will this be a world record?
Well, it will be as far as I'm concerned.
Now, the one thing is that you live in a block of flats too.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they're going to enjoy this.
Fantastic. You haven't rehearsed this, have you?
No.
OK, let's have the special timer up on the screen. Thank you. Go on, that was good. Go back to that. Please, thank you. Now, are you ready?
No, just give me 1 second to put my mouth on the trombone.
OK, put the phone down. Put your mouth on the phone. I mean, on the... Fantastic, OK, right. On your marks, get set. Go. Hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on a minute, hang on. This is a total cock-up. Did you do it? Was that it?
Hello, did I make it?
Well, yes, I mean, they started the clock rolling far before you started. Very well done. Congratulations. Round of applause. Thank you, Peter. And we carry on. Let's talk to David from Oxford. Hello, David.
Hello, James.
Yes, David.
About female boxing.
Yeah.
I agree with female boxing.
You do?
The reason for that is because women are so stupid, hopefully they'll knock some...
Thank you very much indeed, David. What a prat you are. Angie from Harrogate, who is in fact a nurse. Yes, Angie.
Oh, hi, James. We're 2 night nurses having worked in intensive care units, and we've actually seen the accidental head injuries caused and the damage and suffering caused by patients and families. What we can't understand is why boxers fight and attack the head with no protection.
Yeah.
Having the knowledge that a head injury, albeit minor, i.e. concussion or more serious coma, hemorrhage, may occur.
I understand what you're saying, Angie. I've got to go to a break in a moment, but I don't understand why boxers can't do like karate or anything else, have a non-contact sport. I mean, if they're going out to actually seriously injure somebody, if you knock somebody out, that's sort of first cousin to death, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
I mean, it's a ridiculous state of affairs. What usually happens is they get so knackered after a couple of rounds that all you see is the referee pulling them apart, and then they go back in and get another grip. Why don't they do it like karate, where they don't actually land blows, and you could enjoy the skill?
Or even make obligatory headgear. That's all.
Yeah.
You know? Because look at the female boxer you've got. She's so good looking.
Yeah.
How would, what would she be like in, say, 10 years of really active sport?
Wait till you see her fighting a little later on.
Bella Emberg.
Yeah. Angie, that's not very nice. Thank you very much indeed. We're running right out of time. We're going to take a break. Back in a couple of moments. This is a first on British television. This is the first time, I think, you have ever seen women's boxing. This is real boxing. What we're going to see is a sparring bout, obviously, and Sue has now got a sparring partner, Lorraine, in the ring. Sue is mic'd up, and she's going to try and talk us through it, right? And you're not going to hurt Lorraine at all, are you? You're going to pull your punches, like I suggested. So if you're ready...
I listened.
Okay. There's blood, by the way, in the middle of that ring. Never mind, we'll find out about that a little later on.
and easy. Right now, keep your chin down, all right, keep your chin down.
Oh,
That's
for
good.
goodness sake. Don't hurt her. I don't see any tears here.
Right, Lena,
What are you
practice
doing,
some
Sue?
uppercuts. Give me some uppercuts. And then, that's good. Give me 2 more. Right, if you're hurt, then claim me. You're push it. It's good.
Did you...
All right, keep your elbows in. Remember what happened? Right.
Okay, Sue. Sue, I think you could... that's fine. That's
That's
good.
all right, yeah?
Yes, very good indeed. Are you all right,
That's
Lorraine?
right.
Yes?
Well done.
Come here, give me your gloves. Give me your gloves. That's it, come with me. Come
You
on.
don't want me to keep my gloves on, no?
No, well, I don't think you'll even risk it if I take your gloves off you. For goodness sake, I'm a little bit worried about that. Now, the thing, we get over here as quickly as we can. You go and sit over there as far away from me as possible. Oh, as possible. Sue, that's...
Hello. No, Dada.
That's not a ladylike sport, is it?
I would say so, because I believe boxing to be an art. It's like a sweet science. There's
Well,
a lot of art to it.
Why don't they do it, as perhaps Angie, the nurse who was on the phone earlier, suggested, without having contact? Why can't you do it like one of the martial arts?
Well, what would be the point in that?
Well, the skill, presumably.
That would be like reading a book with no words.
You think you have to hurt the opponent to make it worthwhile?
You don't have to hurt the opponent, but you have to make contact.
Yeah.
Obviously, the idea is to hit without being hit.
And the fact that people die in the boxing ring... you
People
think...
die all the time on the streets, on the roads, motor racing.
Yeah.
People just dropping like flies.
Yeah, but those are accidents. I mean, the whole point of boxing is
But
to
an
injure
accident
your
is in the
opponent.
ring. No, that's an accident.
Yeah.
I mean, to take someone like Johnny Owen, he had a particularly thin skull. He would have died if he'd fallen down the stairs.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's an accident.
OK. Do you have any feelings on boxing, Chris, or not?
Yes. Yeah. I don't have any objection to women boxing, but I object to in boxing per se, because I don't see why anybody who voluntarily wants to miscarry brain damage and end up being a little like me. I don't mind being the way I am, but I suspect most non-disabled people wouldn't want to be like me.
That's a good point, because you've never known anything else. You've always been you.
Correct.
And, you know, taking one even. But how do you think? I mean, are you prepared to take a risk that you might suddenly one day end up like this?
Well, it's just not a risk that you consider, you know. Because if you do things like that, you think, well, OK, I want to go over and see my mate, and it's about 10 miles. But if I drive my car, I might crash it. So I walk, or go on a bicycle, or I might get run over. You just sit in your house and you wouldn't do anything.
Julian, you had you fancied blind boxing.
Yeah, I think the idea of 2 guys, like, chasing each other around a ring, looking for each other and kicking the crap out of each other would be brilliant.
That's been done in a film, hasn't it? Blindfolded, guys blindfolded.
It'd be terrific. Who'd be the referee, though? That's what I want to know.
I certainly wouldn't. I certainly
A
wouldn't.
dangerous thing that would be.
Steve, do you have any feeling on this? People actually, physically fit people actually hurting themselves. What do you feel about this?
I think it's all right. I mean, I think people do all kinds of sports which cause accidents, and I think you can't complain about one.
Yeah.
I mean, people break their back skiing, which is actually sounds more dangerous.
Yeah, you're right. Do you think you'd ever fancy making a film about female boxing? Were you surprised how vicious they seemed to be to each other?
Oh,
I mean, I know they were sparring then, and they're not supposed to be hurting each other, but you took a couple of cracks in the face, didn't you?
Yeah. No, because, I mean, what we were doing is spar, and we had big 12-ounce gloves, this kind of thing, so...
Yeah.
I mean, any guys that are into boxing out there that are watching it, they'd be able to tell straight away that that's not a serious... You know, what we were doing was just a pure spar.
I mean, the thing that really annoys me is quite often you see these big boxing matches or these dinners that you go to, and you've got these people in their bow ties and their dinner suits sitting around, and it's kind of like a bad... You said to me earlier, a B-movie in the background of blood coming all over.
I think that's sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. And also, I think that boxing probably gets a bad name from the sort of top televised bouts that are like pure kind of money things. That sort of a man on the street that's not particularly interested in boxing, he doesn't see the best fights which go on at small halls, like at York Hall or Battersea Leisure Centre, somewhere like that. You get a much more kind of spirited thing with true fighters, you know.
What would you say? You've got a camera here. Let's have the camera on. So what would you say to the people in charge of boxing in this country now who don't think it exists, as I
Who
said
don't
earlier?
think women's boxing exists? Well, I think really they've got to wake up to themselves. I mean, they do know it exists because they've been on TV and talked about it. I think one of the guys, John Royce, I think it was, likened it to people watching women's boxing as watching a couple of kangaroos. This is the kind of mentality we're up against.
Yeah.
But I mean, OK, if they don't want to accept it, that's fair enough. But what I would say to them is they shouldn't penalise people that are trying to help us.
Yeah.
Which is what they do.
Let's look at the other side of boxing for one moment. And guys, if you want to join us on this conversation, please get into it. Clifford Goult, is that right? Clifford, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Now, Clifford, your son, Mark,
Yes.
was disabled through boxing.
Yes.
What disability does he have?
Well, he is paralysed down his right side, his leg and his arm.
Well, we've got a bit of film, actually, we can see. We'll put up. Yes, go on, Mark. Sorry, Clifford, go on.
Yeah, and he's got damage in his speech as well.
And is this the fight we're seeing now that actually did this to him?
Yeah, this is the Southern Area title.
Yeah. I see. It didn't happen in the ring, it happened a few days afterwards, is that right?
No, it happened about half an hour after the fight, after the title fight.
I mean, do you hate boxing now?
No, I don't hate boxing, no, because we all know who goes into it. There is a danger in the sport, and so there is in other sports.
Now, there's Mark now. We see him on the screen. He doesn't look too happy about it. I wonder how he feels about it. Would he have done it all over again, do you think?
Yes, well, the television who come to interview him there one day there, he said he would do it again, and he said he doesn't want boxing banned.
What do you think about women's boxing?
Well, I'm against that, really.
Why?
The reason I'm against this is because some women would get in boxing who's got little children and that for the money, because it's professional boxing.
Yeah.
And in the end, the children, because it's dangerous, they could end up with no mother.
But what about them ending up with no father?
Yeah, I know, that's so, yeah, but the mother is the one who really cares for the children and looks after them in their later lives through, like.
Well, I hear a lot of disgruntled murmurs coming from the audience about that, actually, Clifford. I don't think you get much support in that. But thanks very much, anyway, for your call. It shows the other side of it. Let me... Sue, you're not put off now? That doesn't put you off?
No, not at all, no.
OK, let me go back. We're going to take some calls, first of all, before we go. John from Rochdale. Hello, John.
How are you?
Yeah, OK, John.
Not bad. I'm just bothered about, like, women are supposed to check their breasts every day for lumps and things like that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not sort of thing you can miss, is it, when two women are fighting?
Oh, I see. You think that maybe if you've been boxing the night before, your breasts are going to have lots of lumps in them, and how do you discern which are cancerous and which aren't?
We look at Watson.
Yeah.
Fit guy. Fit
yeah, but we've heard that we've already gone through this dispute, haven't we, really, John? That you know, nobody forces you to do this. As long as you don't expect perhaps other people to look after you when you're damaged or everything else. That's perhaps a point that Chris was making.
Women weaken easily, though, don't they?
Women weaken easily? You want to come and sit near Sue?
Well, no, I wouldn't like to, actually. She'll a bit big, but...
She would, yeah, I think she'd have dealt with you for this sort of line of, don't you?
That's right, yeah.
OK. Because usually on this programme we run out of time very quickly, which we're in danger of doing at the moment. I'm not going to take another call. I want to just go over to the audience very quickly. Do you want to... Feel free to get, you know... I've got... Where's Heather? Heather Clark. Where's this... Come here over here, Heather. Heather, you've been trying... Can we get... can we see here or not? Heather, you've been trying to get onto TV for a long time as a TV presenter, haven't you?
That's
true,
James.
Had any luck or not?
Not really, no.
Anybody given you a good reason?
Not particularly, no.
Just ignore it. Are you going to carry on?
Oh, yes.
You are?
Yes, for
Fantastic. OK, thanks very much indeed. I'm sorry we are running out of time. So it's quite fun, this, isn't it, really? Because it's like go-karts with cameras.
You can take over the show with me.
I could take over the show with you?
No.
Oh, she could take it over with you. Well, we'll bear that in mind, actually. Right. Now, I've got to finish the programme on a slightly different note. A couple of weeks ago, one of our team was tragically killed. His name was Phil. He worked on the sound. He balanced the sound, and his brother still works on the show and balances the sound for us. It's something we didn't expect, and his funeral was last Friday. He was particularly fond of a piece of music by Steve Booker that he mixed, and we're going to re-show as a tribute to him. Not as a sad tribute, because, you know, in our minds and around us, Phil still exists. And also a painting that he did about 12 years ago has been put into this. So this is our tribute to Phil, who, in our memories, lives on.
This ray of sunshine, this golden dream, and the need to walk a line brought me down from the rolling hills to work these fields of fire. Now as I walk through this broken town, it shows no signs of life, 'cause this place was all closed down so long before its time. And they say this is the real world. They say nothing is free this side of heaven. There's no rough side of town. No bed of roses, no saving grace, just a storyteller's tale. 'Cause they come from miles around just to hear what he was saying. No words spoken, no healing rain to wash the pain from our hands. No hearts are broken.